I am 39. Crazy. All right, do you suspect people to buy the new C63S since they're bringing the V8 back? We don't have official word that they're going to bring the V8 back, by the way. Just want to be clear about that. What I've heard is that the C63 was not designed to accommodate the V8. So if anything, it's probably going to get the inline 6 like you have in the E53 sedan, which is still a fantastic engine. I mean, that engine makes 600 horsepower. And I'm sure they could do more to that as well for full 63 treatment, but I wouldn't expect that it's going to be the V8. There's no indication of that. I think that has been debunked multiple times, yet it still continues to keep making its way out there. Just a moment, sorry. Emmett, what's going on? Okay. What kind of car? All right. Well, same thing. Same thing. All right. Let's go. Let's see. Yep. Final answer? All right, final answer. Got it. And I'm not seeing a Patrick in here. All right, let me look. Oh, I see it from 5 hours ago. Okay. That's what it says. In New York. Doing a sign and drive. What? Well, don't worry about it. That's not important. But what down payments does he want to see? You've got 0 in here. What? Yeah, that's a sign and drive. Okay. All right, it is saved in there for you. Yep. All right. See you. Bye. All righty. How's everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Okay. Sorry about that. Had to help Emmett hopefully sell a car. So what's going on? How's everyone doing? We good? Kevin, $2,600 in fees. Oh, Thomas, what do you think about a dealer charging $2,600 in fees? What are the fees? That seems like a lot. That seems like a lot, but you've got to kind of tell me what those fees are. Are those registration fees? Are they doc fees? Are they just bogus fees? I don't know. I don't know what state you live in either, but that does sound like an awful lot. Luis has been selling Toyotas for 25 years, new and certified pre-owned, and always made more than 6 figures every year. That's awesome. Good for you, Luis. Thank you for the follow, Mr. Yank. Very nice, very funny. Jared was the dealership. He got you all the sales. Jim, no, he didn't. I don't know why you would think that, right? Jared's just one person. So, how much would charge for tint, PPF, and ceramic? That all depends on the car that you're looking at. Tints generally, I mean, is it an SUV that only needs 2 windows? We don't do tint in-house, by the way. That's a vendor that we would work with. But Susan, happy Tuesday to you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Should the dealer be waiving the market adjustment? I'm not sure what dealer you're talking about, Steph, but if there's a market adjustment on a particular car, it could just be a bad dealer. It could be a car you're looking at that has a massive supply and demand imbalance. I would need a little bit more context there. David, I just did 4 cash deals in a row. Can you talk me off the ledge? Yes, David. Everything comes in waves, buddy. That just means that you've got a bunch of nice deals right around the corner. Yes, Sid, we don't add anything to our cars. We don't do any ads that people didn't ask for. I mean, if you want ceramic and you want tint and you want PPF, which many of our clients do, especially on the high-performance cars, then of course we'll help set that up for you. We'll sell that, but we don't preload our cars with anything, right? We don't ceramic them and tint them right when they get here and then force you to pay for it. Okay, we don't do that. Why is there no margins in the front anymore? Talking used independent side. Well, I think, Hyder, that the business has just gotten very competitive, and new cars especially, you can generally get the same new car from anywhere. So dealers that maybe don't offer good service, the only thing they really can sell on is price. So they just strip out the margins and they try to make it all back in the back end of the dealer and their service departments. So yeah, margins in car sales are definitely tighter and tighter. And the more information that's available, which is great for the consumer, then the more informed they are. I mean, it's a tough business, right? So you've got to have a well-rounded dealership in order to be profitable, that's for sure. Alex, GLC 350E versus GLE 450 for a 6'4" driver with one kid. Alex, it sounds like the GLE would be better for you based on how tall you are. Mario, do you think leases will go back to how they were pre-COVID wise? I think that we're trending in that direction. Nothing will ever be as cheap as it was pre-COVID, right? You do have to remember that things generally become more expensive over time, and people adjust to that, and then it just doesn't go back, right? So it's never going to be as inexpensive as it used to be, right? That's just kind of a fact of life, unfortunately. Brett's negotiating on a G550 stronger than 1980s, never paid markup before. What would you consider too much over the 183K MSRP? They wanted 25K. Wow, Brett, that's a lot. I don't know. We sold ours for MSRP to a repeat client, so I really don't know what the market would be on that. I mean, again, it's a very limited car. It's very cool. It stands to reason. I think they will hold their value quite well, but $25,000 does sound like a lot, especially considering how expensive that car already is. I think that if you could get it for 10K over, that would be a good deal, but anything above that, I'm not sure it would be worth it. So, Panamera versus the GT53. Sell me on the GT53. Well, Jose, those are really both great choices. I think it's just going to come down to personal preference. Like, what styling do you like better? Right? Do you like the Porsche brand better? Do you like the Mercedes brand better? I think that from a technology perspective, the Mercedes is a little bit more user-friendly. And I actually like the styling of the GT four-door coupe better. You've got to have the right wheels on there, of course. But, the Panamera is a great car, too. I just think that for Porsche, you go with a 911 or you go with a 718, something like that. Celtics Pride, it's Mercedes, of course. Lexus is a great brand, but it's Mercedes all the way. Terry, why do I keep hearing VW Corp is in trouble? I'm not sure. I have not heard that myself. Any C63 available? Yes, Jimmy, I do have one C63 in stock. Thank you. I like this bow tie a lot. This is a good one. It's reversible, which is cool. So you can kind of get two bow ties in one. Any advice for myself that has to sell with those ads? $24.95. I'd find a new dealership. I wouldn't want to be a part of a dealership that puts you in a situation where it's combative. You're set up to fail every day. That's not somewhere that I would want to work. That's just me. So I own a Mercedes and a BMW, but now I drive a Toyota Camry XLE hybrid, best car ever. Yeah, Toyotas are hot, of course. Let's see, how are the G550 market prices now, mostly MSRP? Yeah, Jack, we've been selling ours for MSRP since they were redesigned, so if there were dealers that were selling over, I wasn't really paying too much attention to that. Hey, Doug, if Mercedes denied application, how long after to reapply? Well, you're probably going to want to be 60 to 90 days at least removed from that, and you wouldn't really have any meaningful change in your credit in less time than that. But yeah, you're going to need probably 2 to 3 months. Thomas, the documentation fee is $12.98. Wow, that's a lot. Electronic filing fee is $5.98. Jeez, oh Pete. Registration $4.50. Registration, that's probably a normal fee, depending on where you live, but I don't know, what state are you buying from? Those seem like really high fees that might be unrelated. Hey, Doug, thoughts on Kevin O'Connell? If you're talking about my brother-in-law, he's okay. No, I'm just kidding. I love Kevin. K-Fresh Channel, I am buying a 2018 BMW M3 for $64,000 with $25,000 worth of options included. Ceramic brakes, do you think it's a good deal? That sounds like a lot for a 2018 M3, but I don't know. I guess I'd have to see the listing. 25, the options that, when you're saying options, are you talking about options from the factory or aftermarket type stuff? OG Dizzle, the Ohio dock fee is regulated to $387, so that is what our dock fee is here. Did you ever work in sales or just finance? The Nashville Matt, yes, I was in sales for about 5 years, and I've actually never been a finance manager. Fun fact. I know I talk about the finance side of this business a lot, so a lot of people do think that I am a finance manager, but I'm actually the general sales manager. But we have a unique way of approaching the business here where the sales managers here actually load the deals and submit them to the banks, right? Our belief is that the sales management is working directly with the sales team. Therefore, we're most familiar with the deals, and therefore we're most equipped to load the deals, get everything in there correctly, and then submit it to the bank, and then we hand it over to finance from there. But I don't like the process of, a salesperson brings the deal to finance then does whatever they're going to do with it, because that's where the kind of the shenanigans tend to happen, and we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So DBJ, any new Sealy 53s coming in? We have several here. I think I probably have the best inventory of Sealy 53s in the country for sure, and it was a lot of hard work to get to that point, but I do still have several left in stock. There are none coming until the 2026's launch, which I'm not sure when that's going to be. Jacob, what's going on, brother? Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for everyone who's here today. If you could tap the screen, hit the like button, thumbs up over on Facebook and YouTube, I would appreciate that. And Instagram, I don't know what they have over on Instagram, but if you could like it on Instagram, that'd be awesome. And if you're not following already, would love and appreciate a follow. Hitting the like button, hit the thumbs up button, that helps to kind of push this out to more people to see, and I appreciate that immensely. So, the shenanigans still happen? Well, I guess, sure, maybe with a lot of dealerships, but that's actually a very smooth way to keep everything rolling. I might have missed the first part of that. So Warren, when do you start the required dealership makeover? So we actually are building an entirely new facility, and we'll be moving from North Olmsted to Avon, Ohio, so just a couple suburbs over. And that groundbreaking will happen beginning of next year. And then, by the end of 2027, we would be moving in. So that's when the lease on the dealership that we're in now ends. So we're about a little over 2 years away from a new dealership. 1975 Eaton, Doug, nice to meet you. In reference to the 123G, I own a 2005 G500. Awesome, I love that. I had a G500 myself. I missed that car significantly. 2023 G-Wagon 550, 61K miles for 105K. Your thoughts? That sounds about right, but I'd pay a little bit more for lower miles. Absolutely, I would. What's the best compact SUV that Mercedes carries? Janae, I like the GLC. I think that is the most luxurious, but if you want to save a little bit of money, the GLB I think is a great option as well. The GLA is technically our least expensive entry-level SUV. It's the smallest, however, so it might not fit what you need size-wise. Jimmy, what is the average price of a key replacement on a new 60? Keys are crazy. They're like $1,000 now. So, and that's not just us. I haven't seen a manufacturer where you can get a key for less than $1,000 anymore. Any good leases on GLE 450 coupes? They actually do lease out pretty well. Zach, do you know the shipping to Oklahoma? Shipping to Oklahoma is probably going to be, let's call it about $750, somewhere in that neighborhood for an open carrier. Does your wife drive an EV or ICE, and did you lease it? Yeah, Bradley, she drives a GLS lease. So, she wanted the biggest SUV that we had. Do Edition 1 cars hold increased value due to their rarity? How can they be valued? So it depends. It just depends on what came with that Edition 1. So we've had some Edition 1s that were pretty unique and special. We've had some other ones that were a little bit less so it just depends. But I wouldn't say that it's a huge value add, generally speaking, unless it has some features, options, paints, wheels, whatever, that wouldn't be available on a regularly buildable car, if that makes sense. Hunter sold 42 units last month and made $9,800. Is my pay plan bad? Yes. Yeah, 42 units to make $9,800 is not good. Any Benz trades filled with garbage? Sure, sometimes. Big Daddy starts a new job at F&I at Mercedes next Monday. Wish me luck. Good luck to you. Congratulations on the new job. You're going to do great. What else is going on? That point was actually in Lakewood, Kepke Motors, then Penske, then Bernie to current Terry. Yes, well, Birdie Boy, you know the full history of it. So, yeah, it was in Lakewood way back when. Penske had it here in North Olmsted, and then, yes, Bernie bought it and then sold it to Terry Rafi. Picture behind me is just a photograph from an artist named Slim Aarons. I don't know who the people are. They're just a couple of rich people hanging out with their old SL at their house in Beverly Hills. Joseph sold 18 last month and made 12K. That's more in line for sure. Ryan, what's going on? How are you? Zach, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Shooter sold 34 Hondas in 95 and made 26K. Wow. Well, that was 95, but can you shout out my son? No. Yeah, you almost got me there. Brick, you think you could hire a salesman from France that is fluent in English? I mean, if you lived here in the States and we interviewed you and it all went well, sure, why not? Yeah, you almost got me, brother, almost. How much for a 2025 LeBaron? Wouldn't know. It was out today, 22 AMG G63 G-Wagon. I'm not sure what the question was there exactly. Bad echo. Okay, sorry about that. I just got to say, I got accepted into MB Drive for training techs to be Mercedes second. You've been the one teaching me about them. That's awesome, Campy. Congratulations. What's your second favorite luxury brand? That would be BMW for me. Well, Porsche actually, and then BMW. But BMW is more like Mercedes in that they have a lot more models, which I like. I mean, I love Porsche, don't get me wrong, but it's such a limited brand. They have so few cars by comparison that there's less people to talk to. Bradley bought my wife a GLC 300. She loves it, but I'm going to miss her Atlas next month for college move-in. Yes, I can totally sympathize with that. The Atlas is quite a bit bigger than the GLC, but I'm glad that she's happy and glad that she loves it. That's the most important thing. Favorite car you sold? I just don't know that I can remember that exactly. Colin, do you have a favorite car you ever sold?
I would say
you sold some pretty cool ones, so that's a hard question to answer. I don't know.
Hard. It's so open. I mean, it depends on the person and the.
Yeah.
I would honestly say Eric and Dee's Lunar Blue G63 with the platinum white leather.
Yeah.
Because that was such a rare color for a G63.
Yeah.
But I love his new one that the video took off really well on that one. His Rubelite Catalana car's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just. I like different colors.
For sure. Yeah, I think that the favorite car that you've ever sold, I think that's a moving.
The person that you sell it to.
Yeah, part of it's the car, part of it is the person, right? I mean, just like you have an experience buying a car from a dealership, we have an experience working with you, and we have different experiences working with different consumers and different clients, and some of them are just so fun to work with. And when you see genuine excitement when somebody's getting their new car, that makes it that much more memorable and fun. You know, sometimes people are here picking up their new cars and it's like they're totally uninterested. It's really almost bizarre.
It's honestly like it's more like upsetting for me and frustrating. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's a bit of a letdown, right? Because it should be an exciting moment, and for some people, it's just not. Like either they bought so many cars that they're bored with it, or they're just, I don't know how to describe it really. But we enjoy when it's a fun and exciting process for the person who's getting the car. So that goes a long way, and I think it makes it a lot more memorable. Bosch Rothman, I thank you for saying thank you. I appreciate that, and thank you for watching.
Bye, Lily.
Would you be interested in a 2021 Ram TRX? Sure.
Joe would.
6x6 Apocalypse. That sounds wild.
Jesus.
Yeah, let's do it. Doug DeMuro recently called out the 16 to 18 AMG GTs as touching the 50-60K range. Good value trap. No, I think that's a good value. I really do. Those cars have a very solid engine in them, reliable. I think that's a lot of car for the money at that price point. I really, truly do. What luxury brand will last 10 years without massive maintenance costs? Used to be Lexus, but not so sure. I mean, all of them should with yearly proper maintenance. That's the key, though. If you skip your yearly maintenances, it's not going to go well.
Hi.
What's up? No. Wandering around somewhere.
I need a car because Aaron sold mine, so. You know.
Oh, okay.
New demo Jess.
Yeah.
E-Wagon.
Are you still on the log?
I know, I wasn't good.
Okay.
Um,
Just 1 second. I need to get back in there.
There's 2 EQSs, but they're both at Sears, so. And there's no way Steve's gonna go for it, so I'm gonna at least need something until.
All right. Well, yeah, just ask him what he wants you to do. He's around. He can't have gone that far.
I think it was that Porsche.
I think so, too. I think I did see him walking that way, actually. Do you miss the E-Coupe?
Yes.
Not really. I actually like the CLE better than the E-Coupe. You know, somebody over on Instagram just asked me what if I could bring back a lost model line for Mercedes, what would it be? And I'm very torn between the S-Class Coupe and convertible, and my first answer would be the CLK class, but we do kind of have a spiritual successor to that in the CLE. But I loved the CLKs. I thought they were so beautiful. The styling was timeless.
S-Coupe. We have so many people asking for that
Yeah.
car now.
You know, that's a don't know what you got till it's gone type of thing. But the problem is that, yeah, there are a lot of people that ask about them, and I think it's mostly because they see what you can get one for now used. But the reality is there's very few buyers for coupes and convertibles that are $200,000. There just are.
If Bill is on the live, we know Bill.
Yeah.
That was his biggest regret, getting rid of the selenite gray with that crystal gray interior.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a special combination.
It was pretty.
Do you still have
I
the Stronger
don't.
Than Diamonds G-Wagon? No, we don't. We actually sold that relatively quickly, so that was kind of fun. That was a whole social media journey that came full circle. So Jared was the best salesperson in the team. Jim, like, don't get me wrong, I love Jared, but did you ever work with him? Like, he was fun, but he was a scatterbrain. You know what I mean? So he definitely was a very entertaining person, and we had a great time, but he was not the best salesperson here, and that's no disrespect to him. That's just the numbers behind it. But again, thank you to everyone who is here today. Thank you for everyone who's hitting the like button, tapping the screen. Appreciate that super, super big time. That's not really a sentence, but I said it. Were you forced to wear that bow tie? No, Harry. I chose this one on my own. MB versus the McLaren GT. Alvin, I know this is going to sound like blasphemy, but I'm just not a big McLaren guy personally. So, you know, I take the Mercedes there. But there are some cars that I really have a lot of respect for. Cody Carter, what's going on, brother? I see your text. I'll get to those for sure. No, Al, it's a real bow tie. They're all real.
Good Ferrari.
The Thomas J did the double cheeseburger hack at Mickey D's today at work. That made a long, aggravating day a bit better, even if it sent my blood pressure through the roof.
We had McDonald's today.
Double quarter pounders with cheese,
Two
baby.
of 'em.
They got to make them fresh every time. They
And
never
I had
have those.
Wait in the parking lot.
They never, yeah, life's. I mean, McLaren. I don't dislike them. I just, when it comes to that level of car, I much prefer Ferrari and Lamborghini to McLaren. I much prefer those. David, how many hours do you work a week? I don't know, 50 to 55, somewhere in there. I mean, at the dealership, right? I mean, work goes on quite a bit longer than just the work hours here at the dealership, but we sold a lot of the CLKs. The 430 wheels were hot. Yeah, the CLKs, they were hot in general. I love the 430 for sure. I feel a Benz would just be too fancy for me. I don't know why. I think a lot of people feel that way, but why not? Why not? Right? I mean, reward yourself. If you like cars, then just drive it if it makes you happy. Thoughts on the AMG GTR Pro? Love the GTR Pro. That was an amazing car, and we had one here. I'm sure that's why you're asking, but we had one here just last week for service. Gorgeous car. I forgot how much I loved that car. Absolutely amazing. And the very different than the GTR or the GT Pro, that we're about to get. Ferrari is my jam. Lambos are played. Yeah, Ferrari is probably my favorite of the exotics for sure.
Gorgeous cars.
Doug, what are 2 characteristics of very successful sales associates? That's a great question. The 2 attributes that I think will identify the best sales associates are, one, they have to be people that can stay busy without being told to be busy, right? They have to be naturally busy people. And two, they have to be very naturally curious. And naturally curious means that they just are asking questions all the time. They're having conversations with people, and it's just a very natural thing for them, right? It's not forced. They don't have to make small talk. They're just able to carry on a conversation, and they ask about people's lives because they genuinely want to know the answer, right? So people who are able to stay busy and who are naturally curious do extremely well in sales, right? People that have a hard time carrying on a conversation tend not to do well, and people that can only be successful when they're being told exactly what to do, they also struggle. So it's not that they can't do well, it's just that they're not self-sufficient enough. So, any tips for anyone starting out in sales? The best advice that I can always give you is that you need to find whoever the best person is, whoever the top performer is at that dealership or workplace. If you're not in a dealership, then whoever the most successful person is, hang around them as much as possible. Watch what they do, listen to what they say, try to mirror them as best you can, and eavesdrop on their conversations so you can pick up on their word tracks and you can hear live interactions, right? That's extremely, extremely helpful. David, what's going on, brother? Thank you, as always, for being here. I've ran across a few older Mercs I like, 85 to 88 300Ds with the W123 chassis that I'd love to restore. Unfortunately, most owners, if still alive, want 30 to 40K for them. Wow, I really did not think that they were worth that much. I don't know. I mean, those older diesels will always be valuable just because the engines go forever. Why that particular generation is commanding so much money, I'm kind of unaware of that. So that's like deep dive I'd have to look into to give you a better answer, but I don't want to just wing it and guess. But yeah, the older diesels, there's always value there, especially now that you really cannot, they just don't make them new anymore, at least not for the U.S. market. What does your dealer average in F&I PVR? That everyone would always love to know that, but that's the secret sauce. Marky, thoughts on a used 2015 S500? Everyone loves that generation of S-Class. I would say find an S580 if you can. Get the V8, or it would have been a 560 for that year. No, I'm sorry, no, that would have been in 2015.
There's no S450s in 15.
No, not 450s. It would have still been a 550, actually. He said, no, it wouldn't have been, because he said S500, so it would have been an S560.
S550 in 15.
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry. You need to look at, I don't think there was an S500 in 15. You'd have to look at...
S500 ended in 06. And then came
well,
back
then it came back, right.
for model year 22.
Yeah, so we had 560s and 450s before that. Oh, look who's here. It's AMG Jared. Your ears must have been ringing. Vladimir here, Doug. Generally speaking, is it typical for a dealership to have dealer cash? They could be used for deals in addition. Just depends on the manufacturer. So every manufacturer is a little bit different. So I can't say that it's typical or not typical. Some manufacturers do rebates, others do, incentives. And the main difference is that rebates are customer facing and incentives are not. What's your daily driver? EQS 580 SUV is my daily driver right now, until somebody buys it, because we have one EQS SUV left, and then they're all gone. And then I got to figure something out. Did you ever sell the Diamond Mercedes truck? Yes, we did. We did sell it. It went pretty quickly. Leon, with EVs being paused, is getting used EQS after the heavy depreciation a good deal, or is no way to go? I do think that getting a used EV, if you can get one that's, stupid cheap, right, a 3 or 4 year old one, probably is going to be a pretty smart move to do now, because I do think that what you'll see is, as production in general from manufacturers gets cut way back, eventually I see that used car market starting to come up a little bit, okay? Because interestingly, like on the EQS SUVs that I just described, those are suddenly so few and far between that their values in general have been coming up, because now, well, nobody asked it on TikTok, but somebody asked it on YouTube, Dalton, or Jordan, sorry. So yeah, I do think that is a very real possibility. What current Benz has the best exhaust engine sound? The GT63 for sure. I'm not an F&I. No, I am the general sales manager. Are they ever going to lease the GLC 63E? Well, you can lease them. You can lease them. Do service departments get mad if you buy a car from another dealership and take it to another one, my local No, of course not. I mean, they could, I suppose, but that would be insane. Right, you got to remember that even though sales departments and service departments work together, they are kind of like their own business within a business. So the service department doesn't care where the car is coming from. The sales department might care, right? If you bought a car at another dealership and then you showed up to your local store and asked them to like give you a tutorial, that would be pretty rude, right? The sales department would probably be pretty upset about that. But the service department, they don't care, right? It's a car that needs service. Where it came from, doesn't matter. Where's Russ Flips Whips at? I don't know. Corey, how aggressive should you be when dealing with objections with a customer, i.e. time or money concern? Do you just address the objection and move on, or do you address and push the sale? Well, Corey, you got to understand that if you're getting time or money, let me back up real quick. Anybody that you're talking to, you have to believe that that person is ready to buy a car today. Otherwise, what are they doing, right? I don't believe that people go to car dealerships or have long conversations with people that work for car dealerships without the intention to buy. So if you're getting a stall, time or money, most of the time that is just a clouded way of saying something else, right? So the reason that people say I need to think about it is because it's the easiest way to get out of any awkward interaction, okay? If you're trying to buy something and you don't like the way that it's going, maybe you don't like the salesperson, maybe you don't like the product, maybe you don't like the price, maybe it's the wrong color, the wrong options, the easiest way to just get out of that situation is to be like, you know what, a lot to think about, I got to go home, think about it, sleep on it overnight, I'll be in touch with you tomorrow. Because in the mind of any consumer, it doesn't seem like there would be a way for the person you're talking to respond to that. Because yeah, hey, it's a car, it's a lot of money, I do need to think about it. But that's never what it is. Maybe 1% of the time do you have people that literally are unable to make decisions in that moment. Most of the time, it's something very specific that they're just not telling you. So the best way that I've ever learned to flush out what's really going on, and I've done videos on this in the past, you see George Saliba use it sometimes in his videos, is the 1 to 10. And it's just a question that is designed to get people to reveal what really is on their mind. And the way it goes is if somebody says, I need to think about it, I need to go home and sleep on it, you're just going to say, 1, permission-based selling, ask them, hey, do you mind if I ask you one more question before you go? Sure, go ahead. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1, there's no chance you're ever going to buy this car. 10, you're ready to get it all done today. Where are you? And the reason that you ask that question is that it's very direct and they have to pick a number, right? It's not, if you say, what do you need to think about? Or, okay, yeah, I get that, I'll call you tomorrow. Then they're going to repeat themselves. Well, I need to think about it because it's a lot of money. And they are still able to leave. But with the 1 to 10, they have to pick a number. So let's say they say, I'm at a 7. Okay, what gets you from a 7 to a 10? And then I'm telling you, 95% of the time, people unknowingly will just say exactly what's on their mind. So that's all that it is. It's just a way to continue the conversation, and you will be shocked the things that people say to you that you would not have known if you had just let them leave. A great example of this was one that was recent. Was we had an S-Class client that we had a black on black S-Class that was in stock. They seemed to like it. They were ready for numbers. And we get to the point where they're like, all right, I appreciate it. I need to think about it. The salesperson asked, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? They were at an 8. Said, what gets it from an 8 to a 10? And he goes, I just don't want black interior. If this car had beige interior, I would get this done today. The guy was about to leave. And we would have had no clue if we had just said, all right, well, we'll call you tomorrow. So it was easy. We said, okay, so we get you on with beige interior and we're good. And that's what we did. So the point I'm making is that there is, when people tell you I got to think about it, or they're giving you some kind of stall, it's not really true. I got to go talk to my wife. No, you don't. I mean, obviously you need to include her in the process, but let's be serious. Do you think that anybody is at a car dealership unbeknownst to their spouse under normal circumstances? I mean, come on, right? So there are ways around that as well. But anyway, I don't mean to go too far down that road. I know a lot of questions are coming in, but that's just a one that I see a lot of salespeople struggling with how to continue conversations in those moments, and then they let people leave, and once they leave, it's very difficult to ever get back in touch with them again. I don't know who needs to hear this, but invest in mutual funds and not depreciating cars. Well, yes, I think we can all agree that cars are not investments. Cars are for enjoyment. They obviously serve a purpose, but there is no such thing as an investment in a car. So yeah, let's all be like Dave Ramsey and go get a $3,000 old Honda and Toyota and just drive it till the wheels fall off. Like, yeah, that is what we all should do, but nobody wants to do that, right? So cars are a funny thing, right? Nobody needs a new car. There's no practical reason to buy one, but you do use a car every day for most of us, and it's a part of your life, and if it makes you happy, then go for it. Just do it as responsibly as possible, right? But let's not pretend that anybody needs any of this. Of course not. But unfortunately, it's the same thing as a diet, right? We can all agree that all we should be drinking is water, and all we should be eating is chicken and salad. Okay, I think we all can agree that some version of that diet is the best way for us to live our lives. However, we don't want to do it. So it doesn't matter if we can acknowledge that that's the best thing. Not very many people will go that hardcore. So you've got to find a way to maybe make that a bigger part of your life, but you can still eat some good food, right? That's just kind of what cars are, right? Anyway. Yeah, got to go talk to, Brent, I mean, the reason that people I got to go talk to a third party. The reason that's so popular is that, again, they think, how could you possibly argue with that, right? I mean, I got to talk to my wife. She's not here, right? What's this guy going to say, right? And the answer, so the question that you asked back is, well, what if she says no? Because that's not what they're expecting. So anyway, you should never let a customer. Yeah, look, I'm not saying, we're not in here like hammering on people not to let them leave. That's not the point of this, okay? We're not that kind of dealership. All this is about is not letting people leave with you having no idea what really is going on in their head. That's it. That's all it's about. And you can figure it out if you just ask a couple of very specific questions. Shrampy, I live in California. My mom has a 3-year-old Mercedes, and she's going to buy a new one at the age of 80. I told her she was nuts. Yeah, look, I see that a lot, where kids are telling their older parents not to get cars. But you know what? If it makes them happy, let them do it, right? Is that really a fight that you want to fight? So I get it. A lot of people are like, oh, no, it's less inheritance, right? That's a very real thing. But anyway. How many incentives can be used while leasing a Mercedes? If you qualify for an incentive, you get just whatever one's best, right? They're not combinable. It's just whichever one's best. All right. Bill, so I'm going to end on this because I do need to hop off, but best lease deal MB has right now. I've been talking about this a lot, and this is just not encouraging anybody to buy a car that they don't need, but Mercedes-Benz stepped up in a big way when the new bill got signed by the Trump administration on July 4th, ending federal tax credits for EVs and plug-in hybrids at the end of September 30th. Mercedes-Benz took that $7,500 federal tax credit, which you get when you lease a car. Okay, you can't get it if you buy it, only if you lease it. And they increased that incentive from $7,500 to $11,500. Okay, on most of the EVs, which I get it, a lot of you are not interested. Okay, I get it. But the plug-in hybrids, which are fantastic vehicles because it's like you can dip your toe in the water of EV driving, but you don't have to go all the way in the pool, or just never plug it in and it's a gas car. So GLC 350 plug-in hybrids and GLE 450 plug-in hybrids now have an extra $4,000 thrown at them. Those are fantastic opportunity cars right now. They are great deals. You can kind of, again, get that EV driving for around town, about 50 miles of all-electric range, which is for most people's daily commutes. or is going to cover most people's daily commutes. And then when you run out of electricity, boom, it's a gas car. Or you just never plug it in and it's always a gas car. But the point is, those cars, they might not be like the least expensive lease payment, but dollar for dollar and for what you're getting, they are excellent. And the GLC and the GLE are the the 1 and 2 most popular and best-selling Mercedes-Benz models in the US for a reason. So to basically get a better deal on what is a GLC 300 or a GLE 350 by just making it a plug-in hybrid, I mean, take advantage of it while you can, right? Because we only have until the end of September before that goes away. So anyway, I appreciate you all being here today. Thank you to everybody who is a new follower or a new subscriber today. It means the world to me, and I appreciate all of you very much. Thank you for coming in here and asking questions. I'm sorry that once I start answering one, all the other ones just fly by and I can't read them. But again,